in EXOBORNE you are what you carry. So basically your power and your playstyle is completely dependent on your loadout. And if you die, you lose everything. My name is Mannerfelt and I'm the creative director for EXOBORNE at Sharkmob. We have 3 different X-Rig platforms. They almost act as classes, especially when you start modifying them and really making a specialization out of them. So we have the Kodiak, it's big and heavy and it's almost tankish depending on how you play with it. But you can customize it to wear really big heavy weapons, so that's the big heavy platform we have. Then you have the Kestrel. It's small and nimble. It can even hover in the air, so it's great if you want to be up in the sky, maybe up in tornadoes and be able to move quickly. Then we have the Viper, and it's more stealthy, I would say, but it's also a jack of all trades, so they're quite different once you play with them and customize them. There's a lot of tactical options you get with all the abilities you have and the synergies with the force of nature. So when there's a strong wind and a tornado, if you're using the Kestrel X-Rig, you can, for example, hover in the air and be up in a tornado and use that and snipe people on the ground. One of the great examples is if you equip, for example, a Molotov cocktail or any other ability that has a connection with fire. You can create these small fires that create updrafts that you then can use with your parachute to fly into enemies. I usually play the game in a quite different way. If I see that there's a storm coming or maybe a tornado, I usually try to use the wind to go to maybe a high-risk location quite far away to be able to scavenge and find something really valuable. And of course, when there's rain, I can't really use my parachute very effectively. And when there's fog, there's enemies, quite difficult enemies spawning in the world, which means that I have to adapt my play style to be able to kill them. If I play with a confident group, we have good gear, then I play very aggressively. I try to push the enemies a lot. I probably go for shorter range weapons. Maybe I open up with sniper rifle, but I try to close the gap to my enemies and actually kill them head on. If I play alone, I'm much more kind of like to play with snipers. Be careful, hide a lot, and if I see the opportunity, I go for the kill. Otherwise, I might actually decide to not engage in PvP at all if I'm alone. There are 2 things we're looking for when it comes to the playtest we do in February. One is, of course, that we want to work with the community to improve the game. It's important for us to make a game that people love, and the only way to do that is to work with the people that will play the game. That's how to improve it. We have had some smaller tests before this one, and we've learned so much interesting things. In one of the first playtests we did, we discovered that our looting wasn't working as we wanted it to. We got some quite strong feedback on how it worked. So since then we have changed a lot of things. We have changed what kind of items we have in the world, how they're placed, in what kind of landmarks it is. We have changed the entire looting mechanic. We have even changed the inventory. Huge change based on feedback from the community already. In EXOBORNE you are what you carry. Your power and playstyle depends on your loadout. If you want to do a lot of damage, you have a big gun. If you want to do more, you have to customize it, you need attachments. And if you die, you lose it. But you don't only lose your weapons, you also lose your Exo-Rig. But since we want players to be able to play together, you have a baseline Exo. If you don't have an Exo, you have the baseline. And you can basically have the grappling hook just to be able to keep up with your team. So you're never without the baseline Exo, even if you die. We have different maps with different biomes. We have one of the maps has a fairly big open world. It's completely transformed by the force of nature. Then we have another map that's smaller. It's a smaller town, and that's very different when it comes to gameplay experience. And I think what makes this even more different is the risk versus reward level. The first map has much lower risk versus reward compared to the second one, which means that it plays fairly different. You have bigger distances between players, and the rewards, of course, are lower. The team has worked on the game for a couple of years and we have loads of fun every time we do playtest. And I really do hope that everyone who's playing the game has as much fun as we do when we play it at the studio. And see you all in Colton County.
We are rolling.
Let's go for it. And then we do it all again. And again. And again. Yes, I made it.